Hello and welcome back to another episode of the B-Boys Review. If you saw the thumbnail, you know we got a big one today. So, pick them up one at a time. Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut. And we went crazy here. We got them in both can and bottle. And then we also have them both, the zero versions, in can and bottle. This was a big suggestion by the fandom, and by big I mean one person. Shout out to them. And I happened upon the bottles, regular. I don't remember how I obtained them all. They came to me from different sources, different shopping trips, friends. But I figured once I had like 2 of the 4, I was like, I might as well just collect the rest of them and make this a big one. So I am prepared. I have a notebook so I can take notes, because I kind of figured maybe let's try them all and then I'll write down initial review, like right off the cuff, what I think it is, and then get through all of them, do a palate cleanse, do it again. If the scores change, average them out, and then, go from there. I figure that's probably going to take a minute, and it's probably too much for me to handle in my brain this whole time. Okay, now that we know the rules, what should we start with? I think we're going to do let's do a precursor. You guys know, big Dr. Pepper fan, this guy. I also am a coconut fan. However, when I get into like the artificially coconut flavorings, I tend to steer clear a bit. So I'm interested to see how the Dr. Pepper transitions into the coconut game. So expectations, I'd say they're managed. I'm not expecting to be blown away, but I am very much willing to be pleasantly surprised. If you guys know, Dr. Pepper, for me, I think I give it a 9 out of 10, which on the Henry scale is insane. If it were any better, it would probably kill you and go to heaven. I don't know, whatever you guys believe in. Near perfect regular Dr. Pepper, let's say that. But yeah, so the creamy coconut, let's see. Get that out of the way. Got to do my housekeeping, make sure I got everything in order. Got everything written down. You guys ready at home? Maybe you're following along. Maybe you have your own. Who knows? We do have the jar. We will just use the jar for the cans. Obviously, the bottles are see-through, so we know the color there. And we probably know the color of Dr. Pepper in general. All right, sniff test. Very coconut forward. Smacks you like a truck. Interesting. I'm going to do a sip out of the can first. Initial thoughts. I'm just drinking coconut. Not sure where the Dr. Pepper is. In the glass. Very fizzy. Dripping on my notebook. Maybe a little bit of Dr. Pepper, but that's like very, very coconutty. I'm going to write down my initial thoughts here. I'll keep them to myself for now. We'll do a big reveal at the end. Very coconutty, like crazy amount of coconut. Honestly, if you told me this was coconut Coke, coconut Pepsi, I probably wouldn't be able to distinguish, Dr. Pepper to Coke to Pepsi in all 3 of those. If you put Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper in front of me right now, I could tell you with my eyes closed which is which. But yeah, the coconut in. Things are getting weird. All right. Brought my water, palate cleanse. Let's do the regular in the bottle now. Now, I typically prefer pop out of a can. A lot of that is probably just the longevity of the coldness factor. I feel like when you drink a 20 ounce out of a bottle, like your first like 3 or 4 sips are like, like cold beverage, and then it starts to warm up quite quickly. And the can kind of just holds it better. It kind of maintains that flavor a little better. So, not to say this is going to be the case here, but very coconutty. I mean, theoretically, this should be the same product, just in a different container. Hang on. Now I don't know what to think. Initial score going in the binder. That's just a whole lot of coconut. All right. That is the initials for the regular. I have my initial scores written down. We'll round back to them toward the end. Feel the coconut in your nose when you burp. Palate cleanse. All right. We'll do the zero sugar creamy coconut. And I should maybe try to rinse this a little bit. See if I can manage to not make a mess. Okay. Not as much coconut in the can. Oh, this is zero. Oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. Interesting. Maybe I'm becoming nose blind too because I've smelled it 4 or 5 times. Who knows? Out of the can first. Never put it on the thing. Be a little redder than it normally is. Sniff test out of the can. I get a little bit more Dr. Pepper than coconut. Got the initial. Actually, palate cleanse first. Get the bottle, last one here. We will double back. I have this. Actually, I should finish this before anything. This is the can still. Not really sure how I'm going to explain all this at the end. All right, last one. Zero sugar out of the bottle. I'm looking at you guys like you have the answer, because I don't. All right. Strange. So we have all of our initials. I will clue you in a little bit. The farthest disparity in score is less than a full point. So like one did not perform 1 point higher than the other. And they're all in that range. Let's just take a minute, you and I. As we're in our intermission here, leave a comment. You guys have had this. If you have a preference, bottle to can, just in general. Your thoughts on the creamy coconut. We'll probably go through this as we wrap it up, but I kind of want to give my mouth a minute here. Coconut coming out. Excuse me. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Usually do this at the end, but why not do it in the middle? I know I keep telling you we're going to give a bunch more videos. I have not delivered that much. I'm still posting occasionally. I think my goal would be like one a week for myself. The other B-boys, I have hounded them a bit, but nothing to be seen. So maybe they don't want to come to the moon with us. Who knows? But all right. Let's do the regular can again. I'm going to just do it all out of the can. We got all that stuff. Man, there's just a lot more coconut in the sugar ones. Now, maybe in the post game we can go over ingredients and see what the difference is. It's just a lot of coconut. Writing my, we'll call it the post game score. Put a P here for each one. So we're going to go off initial, post game. If there's enough of a discrepancy where I feel like I need to average it, we'll average it. If it's close, we'll probably just take the post game, because after two drinks, you're going to have a better sense of where you're at. Palate cleanse. We will hit the regular in the bottle. So much coconut to smell there. Okay. Ref's got to keep the stats down here. All right. Now 0 in the can. I don't know what I'm going to do with all 4 of these after this video. Just pound them all. Who knows? Still looking to you guys for the answers, because I am 7/8 of my way through the scoring here. I still don't know what's going on. I guess this is probably going about how I expected it to. 0 on the bottle. Quick palate cleanse. All right, last one. Second run of the 0 in the bottle. Alrighty. I think I am confident in these numbers. All right, before we release the score, I think in general, too much coconut. To do coconut subtly, I think is a challenge as far as coconut goes. And I was hoping Dr. Pepper would do a good job at maintaining the Dr. Pepper brilliance, let's say, the joy that Dr. Pepper brings, and just kind of slide in a little bit of coconut just to maybe kind of finish off the sip, or, you know, even just the smell can kind of put you in that kind of tropically coconut vibe. But I think it's too much on a broad scale with all four. Too much coconut. Again, not a lot of Dr. Pepper. And I think with as fantastic as a product Dr. Pepper is, you don't want to sideline it for this creamy coconut. So yeah, that kind of puts in that maybe kind of a little foreshadowing on my scores. So let's start with what I rated the lowest. We'll start lowest and work our way up. And I'll give you initial and then the post game and then an average if needed. So in fourth place, put your guesses in the chat. Regular in the bottle, fourth place. And they are very close. But yeah, regular in the bottle. Way too much coconut. And I think there was just a lack of maybe a little bit in the carbonation factor, but it wasn't as good as the can, plain and simple. There's just less flavor going on. And maybe you'd think that because there's so much coconut, less is better, but it's all the same of the less, so it's not great. Initial score, 6.3. In the post game, I bumped it up to a 6.5. I feel like it did better. So we'll average that out at 6.4. Final score of 6.4. And that is the worst. If you know me, 6.4 is not a terrible score. It's like I don't want to give you a letter grade because then they'll be like, why do you do letter grades like that? But it's like okay. It's like run of the mill, maybe a little bit below average. 6.4, yeah. All right, it is a tie. I'm not going to do one over the other because it'll just give away who won. But how do I want to do this? In third place, we'll say in second place, second and third is split. We have, make sure I get this right. Actually, yeah, let's do this one. And I'll explain why. Regular in the can, third place. And I will deem it third place on a technicality. This one, same problem as the others, too much coconut. And this one was probably the most coconut. But it did have a nicer, smoother finish. I think that's just what the can does. Initial, I gave it a 6.5. Post game, I gave it a 6.6. So I didn't average it. I just took the 6.6 because after the post game, I figured I was more educated and more determined on what I wanted. I put this one in third because the other scores, if you average them out, while they both land on a 6.6, the other one had a higher initial. So I figure if I'm going to give a tiebreaker to anything, may as well give it to that. But yeah, 6.6 for the can. Not much better than the regular in the bottle. I mean, none of them. You can kind of tell where this is going. I didn't love the drink. Not bad. Maybe I'll finish one of them. I'm not going to drink all 4 of these. I'll probably finish the best one. But yeah, so 4th place, regular in the bottle. 3rd place, regular in the can, which is kind of strange. Both of the sugar-filled ones are lower on my scale. All right, and in 2nd, if you want to call it a tie, you can, but we'll give it the narrow edge. 2nd place, runner-up, 0 in the can. Now, I know you know that means who the winner is, but we'll get to that in a minute. 0 in the can. The zeros, they just had less of that coconut, and I think they probably were just a little bit less flavorful overall, but they maintained the carbonation, so they get points there. Maybe a little bit more of the Dr. Pepper was hanging around for this one in the 0, and maybe it's more of a Dr. Pepper 0, but still that Dr. Pepper remnants did give it points. For the initial, we gave it a 6.7. And for the post game, we gave it a 6.5. So I feel like it performed worse after a minute. And so I averaged it out to 6.6. If you're a numbers guy, 6.5 plus 6.7, and then 6.5 plus 6.6 for the regular in a can. So it was technically 0.1 points higher, and I just gave the post game score the overall belt. But via tiebreaker, I would say this was the 2nd best. For reasons mentioned, we'll put that at number 2. And you guys know, by default, who's left? The 0 in a bottle. No one is more surprised by this than me. I'm going to give it a run here, just for fun. I stand by it. I think there's still a very relevant coconut flavor, and it's not horrible. It's just a lot. But it's smoother. I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's not the sugar in there. Is it aspartame? It is aspartame. Usually aspartame isn't very smooth. It's kind of like popping in your face. But I don't know. I think it just did better than all of them. The sugar especially, which is strange. I don't really have a huge explanation as to why I think it's better. I think it's just like the 0 in the can. It's a little more subtle with the coconut. Maintains the carbonation well. And I don't know, it just felt a little smoother. And I think I used that argument for the can earlier, but I did a double take and I just tried it again to see if I was crazy, and I think the 0 in the can is the best, but I don't think that's true. I think the 0 in the bottle is going to take the cake. Initial, I gave it a 6.9. And then in the post game, I gave it a 6.8. So maybe a little bit worse than I initially thought, but not bad. Very near a 7. And a 7 is kind of like, I would say a 7 is like average in my scale. Because if you're all the way down here, you're like a 4 or 5 working your way up to a 7. Kind of like the bell curve. And then, the better you get, the less frequent it is, down the line when you get to your 8s and your 9s. All of these kind of fall probably like just shy of the peak of, average. But yeah, 6.8. I stand by it. Very surprised. If coming into this, I probably would have put regular in the can, number 1, and then maybe some sort of tie between 0 in the can and regular in the bottle. And then 0 in the bottle, I probably, in the pregame rankings, I probably would have put that 4th. And here we are, and we get very nearly the opposite of what I had thought. So score-wise, they all kind of placed where I thought they would place. But as far as like who was at the top and at the bottom of those close scores, probably flipped it. Number 1 goes to 0 in the bottle. Well done. Not that well done because you're only a 6.8, but yeah, it very interesting. Not how I expected it in one way, and kind of how I expected it in the other. But yeah, kind of interesting. I kind of like doing it like this. If it's a lot of just me drinking and then looking at you guys confused, maybe it's not the best content, but I'm here for it. And we get 4 drinks done in one. We get you guys a longer video if you hang around for it. But yeah, 0 in the bottle. I'll hang on to him. This will be my guy. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. B-Boys to the Moon. If you're a Dr. Pepper lover, give this a try. First of all, tell me what you think. And second, if you've had them all, am I crazy by putting what I did first and what I did last? Let me know. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Maybe we'll do more like this if Dr. Pepper has something else come out, or, you know, maybe we'll do something else, do Coke in a bottle, Coconut, you know, this kind of thing where you get the 0 sugars and the different containers. But yeah, kind of fun. Thanks for watching. We'll be back for more sometimes. Excuse me. Back for more sometime soon, I'm sure. But yeah, stay frosty out there. Try these Dr. Peppers. Have yourself a happy hump day.